Hello and welcome to Jedi Eternal, our
Wow.
first live
episode.
episode. I'm one of your
Yeah.
hosts, Andrew Bullen, alongside the beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
the scrumptious
Okay, you're taking it too far now.
Braxton Taylor.
This guy, good grief.
I just want to say,
Oh, gosh.
we're had a couple of technical difficulties already, but we're trying our best to get this all correctly. So I hope you guys can hear us okay. You might be wondering why we have mics, but our sound quality isn't so hot. The reason for that is we are still going to record this as a podcast as well. So we have our mics and stuff. We're doing it as a podcast. Unfortunately, we don't have the technology to
Right.
link that to our video
Yeah.
as of now. But, we're working on stuff.
We're working on it.
So I'm sorry if our appearances don't fit your head canon.
I know I'm much better looking than you thought. No, I'm probably much uglier than you thought. But you know what? That's fine. My humor
It is
makes
what
up
it
for it.
is.
So. But anyway, guys, happy Star Wars Day to
Yes.
you. Happy, May the 4th be with you. We are so excited for each of you to be here with us. This is a, I'll just be dramatic. This is a dream come true for me. I'm sure it is for
Yeah.
Andrew as well.
Absolutely.
We've been wanting to do a live stream for a while now. And I'm really excited for you guys to be with us this evening. I don't know where you find yourselves. I know some of you saying you're all the way west to California. Noah, hi to you, sir, if you're on. And then I know that some of you are all the way east, such as the UK and maybe even France. So hello to you guys as well.
Yeah. Hello.
Some of you guys toughing it. It's like midnight over there. We greatly
Hope
appreciate
you're
that.
chugging some Mountain Dew like I'm going to be here in a minute.
Yeah. So anyway, we're excited to be here, guys. Truly,
Yeah.
this is going to be fun.
That's great. So the whole reason we're doing this today is mainly because we want to talk to you guys. We want to have a conversation with you. We do our podcast, and that's me and Braxton mainly talking to each other, except we take a few questions.
You're right.
But
yeah.
tonight is all about just having conversation with you guys. You guys have been so great supporting us, and so we want to kind of give back a little bit, be able to really answer a lot of questions tonight. You can ask us anything. You don't even have to be Star Wars related. I don't care.
No,
You
yeah,
can ask me anything.
I mean, we prefer Star Wars, but you know what? We'll take anything at this point. So let me check out my phone here.
So we already have. I see 2 comments here. Greg Stewart says, "Looking good, fellas." Well, thank you, Greg.
Greg,
Thank you.
we already look good, bud. So.
And John Alex McKinney says, "What's up, guys? What's up, John?"
John, it's good to have you, man. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thanks
joining
for
us this
joining
evening.
us.
So
Cool.
yeah, and it's going to be a slight delay. I can already tell. I'm trying to watch our feed and then try to do this. So there's going to be a slight
Might be some
delay.
delay, yeah.
There is. There's like a 5 to 10 second delay. So forgive us on that, but but we're gonna have a good time tonight. So let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and say we already have 18 viewers. So
Cool.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We're gonna have a fun night tonight. We're gonna try to get off around 8:30, maybe a little bit sooner. So just bear with us on that. Basically, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a rough itinerary this evening. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to just talk a little bit ourselves. We're going to talk about what Star Wars means to us on this Star Wars celebration evening. And then we're going to go from there and just talk a little bit, like I said, who we are, what Star Wars means to us. And then we're going to open it up for open forum for you guys. If you have questions, if you have topics you want us to talk about, what have you. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. So Drew, let's go ahead and get into who we are first and foremost. I know there's pretty solid amount of people who listen to our podcast every week, and we're very, very thankful for you guys who
Yes.
tune in every week here. but we are Jedi Eternal. We are Jedi Eternal, a Star Wars podcast. We're a couple of goofy nerds that
Yeah.
yeah
Best friend cousins.
best friends / cousins. That's how it works out. That's when you grow up in Midwestern Indiana. Your best friend ended up becoming your cousin. Your cousin ends up being your best friend.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I was homeschooled, so I didn't have many options.
Oh,
So-
wow. Yeah, he talks to me. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, we've been loving Star Wars since we were children. We would beat each other with lightsabers, many hurt fingers throughout the years.
Yes,
And
yes.
so doing this has always been kind of our dream. We've been talking about it for a long time about doing something like this.
Absolutely.
We finally been getting the ball rolling, and because we've had so much interaction, and because we've had so many people support us already, we decided, well, let's do a live video, and let's just have some fun.
Yeah.
just kind of hang out. And so, Braxton, what do you love about Star Wars?
What do I love about Star Wars? Well, first and foremost, I think that Star Wars has been an integral part of my life. And that sounds to somebody who's not really into Star Wars, that might sound like really goofy. Anyway, real quick, Brandon, we just saw your comment.
Brandon, what's
Brandon,
up?
thanks, buddy, for joining. Good
Yeah,
to
he
see
said,
you.
What's up, fellas?
And we are doing good. We are podcasting. I don't know what we're doing. We're podcasting, live stream, whatever we're doing. So
Whatever you want to call it.
whatever we're doing here. But anyway, and again, we just want to reiterate, we apologize for any delay that there might be, because it's like I don't even know how many seconds, 10, 15 seconds delay between your comment and what we say. So if we don't get to you right away, just know that. So anyway, what I love about Star Wars is, like I said, those of you who are not super into it or just getting into it, you may not quite understand, it being a big part of our lives, what that even means, right? Yeah. But for me, growing up with Andrew but growing up, it shaped my imagination.
Yeah.
One thing that was, I had a good family, and I didn't have those tragic backstories where, oh, my life was so horrible and so that was my only escape. No, I had a great life. I have had a great life. But I will say, though, Star Wars has given me an outlet for my imagination to grow and to see things beyond what they are, and that's a kind of a philosophical answer, but it really is true. I don't know. How do I say this? It's hard to put it into words, I guess.
Well, for me, Star Wars is all about hope, and I love that.
That's one thing I was going to say.
I think that is such a powerful message, and so and then of course all of the imagination that comes along with that, all of the cool things that Star Wars has, and I just love Jedis, and I love Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I love Obi-Wan. You, and if you're out there, man,
hey,
we love you.
George. Oh, I hope I say your last name right. Conterados.
Horrible at pronouncing names. In
I'm
case you
so
didn't.
sorry, George. But I like the way he said this. He said 5/4, so May the 4th, and then BWU, so be with you. So
oh wow! You know
he's
what?
being creative.
That's creative. I would have never thought that unless he said that. So thanks, Drew, for saying that. But anyway, yeah, thanks for joining, man. We greatly appreciate it.
And as we're talking about this, if you guys want, go ahead and share what Star Wars means to you guys.
Yeah,
let us know.
We'll read it out.
And,
yep.
Yeah.
100%. Let's just go ahead and say tonight is all about not fan, but it's all about listener and watcher interaction. You guys, you guys are Star Wars fan. This is the Star Wars celebration. We are here tonight just to be with you guys to celebrate. So if you guys, like I said, want to celebrate with us and tell us what Star Wars means to you, by all means, do that. So anyway, but didn't mean to cut you off there. I just wanted to throw that little piece out there.
No, you're good.
Well, I'll just go ahead and just continue off on that. Star Wars for me, I don't know. I just think that, again, like I said, it shaped my imagination. It helped me to grow, and it taught me valuable lessons. That was one thing I had kind of predetermined to say. It taught me valuable lessons, and that's one thing that George Lucas really wanted. He didn't necessarily want a kids movie, but he also didn't want this grimy, hardcore adult movie. This rated R thing. He wanted this nice balance of where it has fun elements to it, but it also has these life lessons that you can learn and become somebody better because of that. And like I said, hope is definitely one of those for me. Hope is, even during the darkest of times, as generic as that may sound, in the darkest of times, if you have hope, you have the key to it all, but also, transversing hardships and, continuing on even when you feel like you can't succeed. There's a lot of great life lessons to be learned.
Sure.
And last thing I'll say on that note is for me is that I really enjoyed how immersive it was. To grow our imagination was one thing, but not only is it just one movie. You watch a movie and you're like, oh, okay, that's fun. That's a nice thing. That was a nice trip, so to speak. But Star Wars is like proverbially a place you could live. You know what I'm saying? It's not just one movie. It's a whole saga. it has books, it has comics, it has movies, it has TV shows, animation, it has all these things. And you can not just go to one little story and be done, but you can be transversed to an entire universe. And that is the beauty of Star Wars. You have all these beautiful lessons. Yeah. You have all these incredible characters who you can totally relate to. Then also you have this incredible universe that you can dive into. So for sure, that's one thing that I definitely thought about. So
absolutely.
Anything else on your mind on that note there?
Well, I will say one of the things I've loved about Star Wars that Star Wars has turned into now is the fact that everything is
Noah. Saw your comment, sir.
Hey,
thank you for showing up.
It.
I know,
awesome.
I know it's a little early for you, bud, but we appreciate you joining with us this evening. So
good to see you, Noah. I'm glad you could make it. We were wondering, hoping you would be able to.
Right.
Like you were literally one of the people. Like when we were trying to decide our time, we're like, well, you think Noah's going to be able to be on at that time? So
right.
Like
Yeah. Hey, you've been there since the beginning, man.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, man. But anyway, so wait, what did you say? I'm sorry.
So what I really like about canon is that canon now in Star Wars is everything, right? And I find that so cool. And there's not really that many things out there that are the same way. Mm-hmm. That you can watch a movie, you can watch a TV show, you can play a video game, you can read a book, you can read a comic, and all that is interconnected and is taken seriously and means something. And
absolutely.
That's one of the things I absolutely love about Star Wars. And I think it's just so cool. And so that also encourages you to want to take everything in. And if you're like me, you want to read every comic, even if you don't necessarily read comics very often, it makes me want to read all of them, and so.
Well, and I think for sure that's one thing that I really gravitate towards is because, everything is a building block on one another. Every story in Star Wars, like I said, interconnects in some dimension with another one. And when you deep dive into that universe, it's so awesome because, like I said, everything is connected. Every character is somehow interwoven with another character. Mm-hmm. Even if you're like, there's no way, right? Well, I'm just going to throw some random example. That's probably not even in there, but like Ahsoka could go into some Sith tomb and all of a sudden now she's interacting with Darth Bane, like thousands of years in that universe, yet they're interconnected in some way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a very, very, very cool thing.
Noah said, "Happy Star Wars Day, y'all."
Hey,
happy Star Wars Day to you.
May the 4th be with you. But it's good to see you, man.
Hey, is my sister on? Have you seen her?
I think Grace. I think Grace is on. Grace? Billy, hey,
what's
Billy,
up, Billy?
It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us, brother. I appreciate it.
Grace, baby Grace, if you're
gosh.
on here, I want you to comment. Say you're on here.
Yeah, and again, there's a bit of a delay, probably about a 10 to 20 second delay between our comments and like your comments and what we see. So forgive us on that. So
Star Wars Day has been pretty great so far. I don't know if you guys have been able to get into any of the content yet, but
Grace just said, "Sup?"
Hey, Grace. Okay, so if any of you guys have been listening to the podcast, I was in dire need of a haircut, and I had been talking about that.
Yeah.
And talking about how, how bad it was getting. Check out my fresh cut. My sister cut it for me. She did a good job, didn't she?
That is being selfish.
She just is only like her 3rd or 4th time cutting hair, and she did a fantastic job.
Grace, you're not allowed to comment on your own work. I don't think that's legal. So anyway.
But so we got some big news today. Do you want to talk about that big news, Braxton?
Referring to the movie director.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that's the biggest news that we've gotten today in Star Wars Day.
So let's go ahead and let's talk about that for a second. So first of all, if you guys watched Mandalorian Season 1, which if you haven't, I highly, highly encourage that you do. But Episode 8, which is the finale of Season 1 of Mandalorian, they had a director on there who's a pretty popular director, especially nowadays, and that is Taika Waititi. And he did a phenomenal job on that episode. Perfect balance of humor, seriousness. I really enjoyed that episode. Now, there was rumors going around that he was going to direct a movie. And the funny part is that Taika came in and he's like, I think it was on Twitter, he's like, dude, I have nothing to do with this. Like, he was like almost acted like irritated, like I had nothing to do with this, and they haven't even spoken to me, and so, oh man, okay, send off the trail, Joshin, hey man,
Hey.
Just saw your comment. Joshua, we appreciate you watching, man. I know this is a sacrifice for you over in the UK, so
Yeah, I mean, it's past Joshua's bedtime.
right. Oh man,
Glad
but
you can make it, man.
fantastic, man. I appreciate that. What was I saying now? I'm sorry, heck blank. Oh, right. So Taika was like almost offended because he's like almost as if like, oh man, I wish they would invite me. So long story short, for the longest time, everybody thought, oh, Taika is not a part of this anymore.
Yeah.
He just did that one episode, was it today?
Today, yeah.
Today, yeah. Today, it was announced officially by Disney Star Wars that Taika Waititi is going to direct a movie.
He's directing a movie. It's official.
It's official from Star Wars. And he's being helped by, I should have looked this up.
You should, look that up. I'm going to read a couple of these. I'm seeing a couple come in. Brandon Duke said, stoked about the new film. You guys hit the nail on the head in regards to Star Wars and how it's relatable and carries meaning with life lessons. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really stoked about this new film as well. I'm curious what this could mean, what era this is going to be in. If anyone has any ideas, go ahead and type those in the comments. I'm really curious. Mary Johnston, hey Mary, hope you're doing well.
Mary,
glad you're with us.
Thank you for joining us, Mary.
Noah Aguilar, time for Star Wars to get crazy with Taika. Exactly. Yes. I think we're about to get
100%.
something crazy. And I don't know exactly what that's going to be. But I think that we're going to see something probably more humorous than ever before, a little on the crazy side, if you consider like things like Thor Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm. I would not mind at all to see some kind of like Thor Ragnarok style in Star Wars. I have really no clue what that would even be, but I would love to see that. But regarding the news, Taika Waititi to direct and co-write new Star Wars feature film for theatrical release. Oscar nominee Krysty Wilson Cairns to co-write screenplay with Waititi. So that's a dynamic duo there. Yeah. For sure. Both of them are pretty established directors, writers. I don't know as much about Krysty, but I've heard good things about her. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. I have something else
I want to say about that here in a second, but I'm going to mention something else. Looks like we got my little baby brother, Davey Gill, said, "It's your boy."
It's your boy. There's two people on this podcast, David. Okay, boys. All right, that's rude. I'm assuming you meant it, talking about me.
Mary Johnson said, "Awesome." Mary Johnson, what's your opinion on the sequels? Oh, that's a
touchy subject. Woo! Yeah, no. At this point, let's go ahead and just say we're kind of past the things we were going to talk about. We just have some news and things we're going to talk about. So if you guys have questions, topics, and things,
just throw in questions, and we'll talk about stuff in between. And we're just again, the reason we're doing this tonight is just to chat with you guys, have fun.
So. Real quick, David Smith, you are completely wrong. Okay, how rude of you to even say that. He said Star Trek is better. Oh, you wanted to rise out of me, and oh, buddy, you got it. I was kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
But Mary, I'll just go ahead and throw my 2 cents in there. We don't know how many questions are going to be, so I don't want to get too deep in there.
That's all right. We got time.
We got plenty of time.
We'll cover everyone's. We're good.
Yeah, we got this. Okay, so my opinion on sequels. So obviously, they are part of the Star Wars canon at this point. I have to like them. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't hate them. But I definitely think the prequels and the originals were better, in my opinion. So that is not to say anything for anybody else. That's just my opinion. I did enjoy them. But I do think that I prefer the prequels and the original trilogy better.
I think that for me, the sequels, they have some really great moments. They as far as like the production value and stuff is top notch. All of that is fantastic. I think the only problem for me is the story itself kind of is hit and miss in comparison, especially to the original trilogy. But I still have a lot. I'm still a fan. For me, any Star Wars is good Star Wars. I just want as much of it as possible. So let's go on a little bit more of these here.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. Brandon Duke says Star Wars Ragnarok. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I don't know what. See, Thor is a very serious character.
Yeah.
With a little elements of kind of silliness. So I don't know who would be a serious character like.
Yeah.
That'd be thrown in some kind of hijinks.
Tara Bolin says that Bolin guy.
You know what?
Baby.
Y'all comment on Andrew one more time. Tell you what. All right.
Hey there, wife. You want to come bring me a drink? That'd be great. I'm really for
Yeah,
sure.
whatever.
We'll see if she hears it.
Special
We'll know for
privileges.
sure if she's watching
Yeah.
or not now. Let's see.
Where we at?
James, more of a spot guy than Luke. James Pazer says.
You know that's
You know,
rude, bud. Okay,
yeah.
that's rude. We're all entitled to our opinion.
I'm not sure what to say
but
about to that.
you know, I
David
don't-
Gill. Sorry, Braxy. I'm biased. You should be biased. James
Please.
Kaiser. I think Kirk would whoop Luke. To be honest.
All right, James and David,
He's
y'all
really-
are just trolling here. All right, this is Star Wars Day. Y'all go do whatever you want with Star Trek. All right.
Oh, hey, Sierra. She says, I'm watching you, Andrew. How you doing? Good to see ya. Good to see ya. What? Hey, thank you. Here, go ahead and show yourself.
You know what?
Oh, there she is.
This is just rude.
Thank you,
All right.
Mountain Dew. She didn't bring you one, though. Just me. Okay.
No, I don't want one, Taryn. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm good. Fine, whatever. David, looking for couch. Why did you post this to Couch App? I don't know what that means.
Don't know
So
what
forgive
that
us.
means either.
Okay.
That's not. Wait, he said that's not right to spam. I don't know what he's talking
I don't know
about.
what that means. No, I'm sorry. If
I'm
there's
sorry,
some kind of
David.
spam going on,
If
I
there's-
don't know.
He says I'm rating you 1 star on Couch App. I don't know what
I don't even know what the Couch App
is.
is.
Okay,
All right, let's move on.
Mary
So-
Johnson. Personally,
Yeah.
I like original trilogy and
Wow,
sequels
thank
the
you.
best.
Hey, can you hand me that?
The original trilogy is great, but the sequels
Hey, can
is
you-
when I discovered it.
Thank you, Tara.
Okay, so Mary Johnson's not a big fan of prequels. It sounds like that's okay.
That's fine.
I'm not a big fan of Episode 1, except for like Darth Maul and Qui-Gon. They were the best parts of Episode 1. Episode 2, I enjoyed parts of, but Episode 3 is one of my favorites of all time. So
Yeah, I'm kind of the same wavelength as you. You know, the prequels definitely had their ups and downs. Obviously, had some kind of odd acting, odd writing, and had some odd effects. But a lot of the problems that occurred in the original trilogy due to effects and things like that, I blame on the time, and I kind of do the same for the prequel. You got to give them some leeway there because I'm not exactly sure. You know what I'm saying? Like this was made in 1990, in 1990s and the 2000s, and so the quality was not super great. And George, he had some odd writing, to be honest, in the prequels. But at the end of the day, Episode 3 is definitely probably my top 5 for sure. Star Wars movies, maybe even top 3. But yeah, I think that the OG trilogy is the best. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But I think they all have their place. The prequel and sequel trilogies.
Mary Johnson says she likes Episode 2 and 3 is pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
3 is the best. I love 3. It's great. So, where are we at here? So I think
James is getting a little off subject here. We
we
want this to be a family-friendly show.
Yeah.
We might just go ahead and skip past that one.
Yeah, we're leaving this family friendly, bud. So anyway.
David Gill, I'm more of a fan of Jedi Eternal than Star Wars because of Andrew. Braxton is Jar Jar level.
You're about to be banned, okay? Ban Hammer's about to come down on you. Not cool, dude. Anyway.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Let's see here. I'm losing where we at.
Mary Johnson says she thinks 1 isn't that entertaining. You're right, Mary. Except for like the battle towards the end with Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, I would say the rest of it's kind of it's all right.
Yeah, and I think kind of the same. I like Phantom Menace just because of the nostalgia. I watched the original trilogy first, but I did come in and what was I gonna say? Phantom Menace was one of the ones that here, I'll open mine, drink at the same time so we don't make too much noise.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back. Noah asked, "Would you want animated show about Luke's Jedi Academy or the continuation of Sabine and Ahsoka looking for Ezra?" Whew.
Yes,
Oh,
on both
man.
for me.
Well, yes, I want both, but which one would you rather have?
Oh, would I
first?
rather
Like,
have?
Well, he doesn't necessarily say that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, which one? If you had to choose, which one would you want first?
Jedi Academy, for me, for sure. I think they're both really good. I would love to see either. But that's something we've never seen except through the game, which was back in 1908, and I definitely would love to see some more stuff on Jedi, like Luke's Jedi Academy. Obviously it's not canon anymore, but I guess making a show would make it canon. That would be pretty cool for me too. So anyway,
oh man, that's a hard one. I actually kind of think I might want the Sabine and Ahsoka looking for Ezra.
really more than Jedi Academy.
I think so because I
Yeah.
feel like as far as the Jedi Academy story goes, I could tell you pretty much how that plays out. Like how we see a lot of Luke teaching lessons to young Padawans, and it probably would focus more on the Padawans than Luke. If we got that show and kind of show them growing up, and I'm sure Kylo would be a part of it, all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Sabine and Ahsoka looking for Ezra show is just a lot more mysterious and could go a lot of crazy ways that we can't. I mean, I don't even know what they would do with it, and so
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
it would definitely be entertaining either way you went. But for, I guess we're on kind of different grounds here. But I think either one would be great. I think if we got either one animated, I think that'd be pretty fantastic. So anyway, let's go to our next question.
Yeah, Josh and Birkinshaw says, I think Qui-Gon Jinn was more of a gray Jedi. Would do what's needed for the greater good. That's why I love Episode 1. And I'm with you on Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, I am too.
He knew, I think he knew better what was going on than most of the Jedi. Where most of the Jedi were being deceived, I think Qui-Gon was kind of looking past that. He could see that things were headed in the wrong direction. And he was and butted heads with the Jedi Council a lot because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely phenomenal Jedi. And I would love to get more stories with him. We don't have a whole lot in current canon, so.
Yeah, Qui-Gon is one of my more favorite Jedis. Obviously, Obi-Wan's my favorite overall, but Qui-Gon's up there, and they're very different, as we know in, of course, reading A Master Apprentice. But, in terms of him being a gray Jedi, it's kind of an interesting take, because I could see that, and I almost say I agree with that, but also at the same time, I almost want to say that Qui-Gon was a purist in that he knew what the Jedi was really supposed to be like, and he knew that the Jedi were not like that. And that's why he was able to, in his mind, justify kind of disobeying the Council, because they're not where he believes that true Jedi should be.
Yeah.
So, gray Jedi, in the sense of that current time, yes, but more of a pure Jedi, in a sense, because if you read, especially in Master Apprentice, he talks about him being on the more mystical side. He likes the more mystical, the more spiritual side of the Force and of being a Jedi. And I definitely think that is indicative to the old ways, and I definitely think that
he's very interested in the prophecies and those things as well.
So anyway, for sure.
Brandon Dukes, do you still see Order 66 and Revenge if the Sith the same?
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith the same.
Okay, I'm gonna dive in on this.
Yeah,
so was it Dave Filoni that said this?
Be careful though.
Okay.
We don't want to. We're not going to talk about the final episode of Clone Wars till the end. We'll let you know when we're gonna do that, just so that way if anyone hasn't got to watch it, you can stay with us for as long as possible. We'll talk about our thoughts about the episode at the end, but you can go ahead and reply to that, but just be careful what you say.
No, right. Good catch though. But for real, that is a good question, and we will dive more into that at the end. But I would just say I believe it was Dave Filoni that said that it will change how you look at it. Was it?
I think it was an interview, Entertainment Weekly. I think they interviewed him, maybe, and that was one of his responses.
I could be wrong. This is live, so I can't really do my research here. But anyway, at any rate, basically Dave Filoni or whomever it was, I believe it was Dave, said that after you watch the finale of Clone Wars, you will see Revenge of the Sith and Order 66 different. I watched it. I loved the episode. It was emotional, but I didn't see it differently. There was nothing that changed my perspective in such a drastic way as he kind of implied. So
yeah, I was expecting something bigger. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the episode, and we'll of course talk about that again later. But as far as my view on the movie has not changed. So.
Yeah, I agree. So let's go.
Mary Johnston, Ahsoka is freaking dope though. Agreed.
Ahsoka is a great character.
David Gill, here we go. Braxton may be more like the Clone Wars movie of people. Subpar.
What is wrong with you? Go home.
He says, just kidding, I love you too, Braxy.
You know what? Apology accepted.
Mary Johnston, what are your thoughts on The Mandalorian?
I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's great. I really enjoyed The Mandalorian. I thought it was a great show. I thought it had really good direction, and honestly, I think it was a breath of fresh air for Star Wars. It's a type of medium that we never really got before, and I really enjoyed that. What about you, Drew?
I love The Mandalorian. It was such a just a breath of fresh air, and I'm excited about second season. I'm excited to see where they take all this. Getting a movie quality show on Disney Plus, access it from your home, get
Yeah.
it weekly is just a fantastic experience. I mean, we would get together and watch it weekly, and it's just a cool experience to have, and I'm excited to see that grow more and more. So as far as the story and stuff goes, it's phenomenal. So give me all of that. Love it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Mandalorian. I'm excited to
Hey.
see what.
Corey Allen Wise, what's up, buddy?
Oh, hey, Corey.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Yes,
Hope
sir.
you're doing well.
Thank you.
He said, "Do you think Yoda's race can automatically use the Force?"
Great question.
That is a good
Great
question.
question.
Go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, so I have my thoughts on this. So that is the question, right? We only see three people, or beings, should I say, not people, but three beings of Yoda's race, which is Yoda, Yaddle, and the child or baby Yoda, right? And is it a coincidence that they all use the Force? That is the question. And I don't know. I honestly, we don't really know that. I think empirically, if you're using empirical scientific evidence, we'd have to have a bigger sample. We'd have to have a bigger sample to really tell statistically. But 3 out of 3 using the Force, I'd say that it is a likely chance that their species is inherently Force sensitive. Now, there is only a very, very, very few times we hear of that in legends or in canon. So is it likely, or is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Maybe. I think it could be coincidental, because you got to think, right? When George Lucas was just creating Yoda, he was just Yoda at that point, right? Just a character. And then when he created the prequels and inserted Yaddle, I could imagine him like not really thinking about it in a lore thing. He's just like, oh, probably need some more of Yoda's species. But then again, at that time, he already knew that he wanted to cover. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last part I was just gonna say before I give it back to Andrew. With Mandalorian, Baby Yoda had to have Force, right? Like it only made sense. Like it would be kind of not. It wouldn't be boring, but Baby Yoda wouldn't be Baby Yoda without the Force, and so it just made sense for him to have it. So is it coincidental? Maybe, but it is definitely possible that they do have the Force inherently.
I think they all have the Force.
Whoa, he's just saying it definitive. Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
I really do. We've seen 3 of them. They all have the Force. And not only do they have it, but at least we know for a fact with Yoda and Baby Yoda, as we like to call it here. Yes, we know it's not
Yes,
Yoda's
it's not.
baby, but we like to call it Baby Yoda.
Yeah, yeah.
They're both very powerful in the Force, and I think it is no coincidence. I believe that they most likely all have that ability, and I think we will eventually find that out for sure as we go on with the Mandalorian.
For sure. Oh, and Brandon Duke says, almost got you.
You
So
did.
you did almost get us. Autocorrect. No, you're good, man. Trust me, I make some very embarrassing mistakes sometimes. Some with that autocorrect stuff. What Kristen says,
Hey, Kristen.
yeah, thanks for joining and asking.
Kristen's
Kristen.
another one of our
Faithful supporters.
We appreciate you.
Yes, thanks, Kristen. But she says, do you think there was any other clones who did not complete Order 66? So automatically knowing Rebels, we know that there was Rex, Wolf, and oh gosh, you guys are gonna crucify me on this one, aren't you? Gregor. Yes.
Well, do we know for a fact that they didn't though?
Well, no, I guess not. Because here's the thing.
I haven't watched Rebels in a while,
Yeah, it's
especially
been
those
a
episodes.
good while
So
for me,
they may
too.
even say they never. I'm not 100% sure, but we know that, of course, by the events of Rebels, they have teamed up with Rex, and they're the good guys, and blah blah blah. So I think something happens, and I assume they probably take that chip out of their head sooner or later. But I just don't know if they actually followed through with it, kind of like how Rex. Should I say that? All right.
You must save it.
We might save it.
Might save it.
But
We're trying to be cognizant of
yeah,
everybody who may or may not watched a
people
certain
may not
show.
have seen certain parts of it. But
Yeah.
I would say that there's a good chance the two of them may have figured it out, and maybe even the one guy told them, what's the one clone that did get it taken out in a previous
Fives.
season, Fives.
Yeah.
Fives may have shared that with them, and so, but
Yeah. So anyway, and here's the thing. Technically, Rex did complete it, though. You're right. Like, he actually did, for a little while, attack Ahsoka. So, I mean, the only reason he stopped is because Ahsoka was able to remove the chip.
yeah, that's what I wasn't going to say, because just in case people hadn't seen that yet, but...
Well, so anyway, guys, I don't know what Andrew was talking about.
May just got some haters on the show, but...
I'm so sorry.
Well, it wouldn't be
My
you if you
apologies.
weren't, accidentally
That
saying
is
spoilers,
true. It wouldn't
so-
be me if I wasn't...
Sorry about that,
releasing
anyone,
some-
if you hadn't seen it yet.
See, but here's the thing, though. My spoilers are mild spoilers. They're not like,
That
this
could
is
be
the
con-
newest episode.
That could be considered a quite huge spoiler, I would think.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's like one of the biggest questions, everybody wanted to see in the season, is
Yeah.
if Rex follows through or not. But anyways.
I don't know what you're talking about. So, anyway.
Mary Johnston, do you think Baby Yoda is Yoda's child or another form of the same species?
Good question. Great question.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think it's Yoda's baby. I know some people think maybe it's like a clone of Yoda. I would say it's that before it's actually Yoda's baby.
And if I'm not mistaken, though, in Mandalorian they do reference that and say that he's organic material. Like they acted like as if he wasn't a clone. And I have to go back and rewatch that, but I'm pretty sure that
we
that
talked
happened.
about that before.
Yeah.
I would say this is just just one of the species, but we'll find out eventually. I have a feeling. So
Yeah, I'm sure in season 2, but maybe even season 3, depending on how long they're going to want to extend the show. That's a big bomb that they're going to drop on when they're about to end, I'd imagine. Because here's the thing: even if they start to reveal that, I still don't think that they're going to go through with revealing what Yoda's species is, like the name, or where they come from,
Yeah.
and all those details, right?
yeah, I think it's going to be a slow drip. They're going to give us a
yeah.
slow
Just
drip
a little-
of information.
Yeah.
And as long as they're going to continue the Mandalorian, they want that central mystery of Baby Yoda. I think is one of those big, that, and maybe if Boba Fett's ever going to show up. I think those might be
Yeah.
two
that
big
could be-
things that they might start slowly dripping more information, or they might just. I mean, a lot of people think Boba Fett is officially going to show up in this next season.
There's hints to it, right? We don't
There
really
are
know, but there
hints,
is hints
but
to it for sure.
I personally am on board with it. I would love it, but I know some people want it to stay away from that. But
Yeah, I understand.
Corey
that too.
Allen Wise, what's up? Corey Allen, awesome. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
You're very welcome.
We both just pointed at the camera.
Yeah.
Mary Johnston, if you had to pick one, what is your favorite original trilogy character?
Oof. Nice. Well, you're gonna make me go first, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, I hate to go generic with it and say Luke, but I mean, Luke's such a great character. Honestly, Leia is a great character too. I really like. I mean, I'm gonna just name all. I really like Han too, and I really like Chewbacca. No, I really like all of them, frankly, obviously, but I think the one where we see the most growth is Luke, and I also really like Leia's character as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's definitely some of my favorite characters. I mean, Vader, of course, is like Vader, right?
I think I might have to say Vader.
Yeah, I mean, Vader's Vader, right? I don't know.
Yoda is really good, but he's just not in it enough, I think, for me to justify.
Same here.
I think, and you guys know Obi-Wan Kenobi's my favorite character, but I think I truly, really like Obi-Wan Kenobi more so because of the prequels.
Oh, 100%.
So I think
yeah.
since we're talking original trilogy, I would have to go with Vader. And
Yeah.
honestly, if the sequel trilogy had turned out differently, I think Luke Skywalker could have ended up being one of my overall favorites. But
Sure.
the direction it takes, it's kind of ruined a lot about Luke Skywalker for me, to be honest. But anyways,
No, that we don't want to sit here and rag on the
Yeah,
sequels,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm kind of the same band as you.
George Conrados. I'm so sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Says good stuff. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, sir.
David Gill. Oh, here we go. Let's see what he says this time. Besides just a few... Oh, he's actually
Hold on,
asking a
actual question. Thanks, David.
Besides just a few instances, we've not seen Vader use his full power. If we ever do, what and how would you want to see it? Movie, animated show, video games, etc.
That's a great
Why?
question. That's something I thought about before.
I already know the answer. My answer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'll just go ahead and say that I think we're kind of both on the same wavelength here. But I remember playing Force Unleashed, and that was one of the first times you really get to see the raw, at least for me anyway. Maybe there's some other example or instance, right? But Force Unleashed is one of the first times I recognized like Vader's raw power. Like he was able to just like take buildings, just walking around like he's not even trying, and he's just ripping stuff in half and throwing people. I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah. And it's at that time I'm like, oh man, Vader is incredible, right? I think that we've already seen in comics, because we see some to some extent in the comics. We've already seen that, not to the extent we see like in Force Unleashed, but I would say probably somewhere either live action or animated. But I want to say animated because you can do more with animation. For instance, like with Clone Wars, right? Like they can do some incredible things with Clone Wars. So anyway, what is your thoughts on that, Drew?
I want to see it in a movie.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to see Vader just do some crazy stuff in a movie, and I mean, for example, we got the hallway scene in Rogue One, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's
it's
really
absolutely
good.
Amazing scene. But I want a whole movie, and we talked about one time about doing like Star Wars having more of a horror movie, and it being Darth Vader like hunting down.
I would definitely
some Jedi or some Padawans or something.
I would love to see like that with trying to think exactly where location, but like just regular people, right? Like rebel troopers, like running from Vader.
And Vader's just he's kind of like it's just like in a slasher film. He's going around, but you just see him do all this crazy stuff, right? Like I'd be for it. I think that'd be cool.
100%.
Joshin Birkinshaw, ha ha ha, Braxton.
I'm sure you're referring to my little slippage
your
there.
Slip there, yeah. He listens a lot. He's used to you doing that.
He knows. He's like, yeah, you don't, if there's anything new, don't.
Mary Johnson Leia is amazing.
She is.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Mary Johnson Vader is really cool. I agree.
Absolutely.
Kristen Perry. I have a strong feeling that Baby Yoda is either an orphan or was abandoned. This way they could technically keep information of Yoda still a secret. And this would play into Mando relating to Baby Yoda as well. Thoughts?
Yeah, I
think you're
pretty
dead
much.
on.
For sure.
I think that's already why Mandalorian wants to keep Baby Yoda, take care of Baby Yoda.
Well, I mean, as a foundling, that was one of the whole themes of that. Is like, a foundling is supposed to come and they'll be adopted into the Mandalorian ways.
Yeah.
I definitely think so. Now, even if he's not or is or whatever, like he's being treated in that manner, so it just makes sense. That
the real question is, do you guys want to see Baby Yoda become a Mandalorian or a Jedi?
Baby.
I mean, I kind of want to see Baby Yoda in a Mando outfit. Yeah. But I kind of want to see him in a little Jedi robe too. So.
Yeah.
Either
I don't know. Both would be great. Like a bounty hunter Jedi.
Or a combination. That'd be pretty cool too. Like I'm not gonna remember his name at the moment, but that guy.
Oh, him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard him about.
We're not gonna worry about it. We're gonna move on. Josh and Birkinshaw going to go out on a limb and say I have a soft spot for Wedge from the original trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
As good as Pilot's Luke. Agreed. Yeah.
Wedge is
great character.
Great character. Great pilot, of course.
Mary Johnson, I know they explained why he felt helpless, but it's not like Luke to feel that way throughout the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that is kind of reminiscent of why I am kind of... I like the sequels, but they do Luke wrong. They really do. And even Mark Hamill says that. Mark Hamill has gone on the statement, and it's a record, made a statement saying, like, I don't agree. I personally said to them, I don't agree with how they're taking Luke. Luke was always a super, the super optimistic, super like headstrong, like, nothing can conquer us type guy who cared for everybody, and they just kind of flipped the script there. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say what kind of gets to me is like when you read Legends, and Legends goes pretty far, about the same, close I think to the same time as the sequel trilogy, and you see this older Luke, but he's so wise, he's so pure, and he's so powerful, like insanely powerful.
Oh yeah.
And I guess I just always assumed that's what we would get when we finally saw Luke in the sequel trilogy in those movies. I assumed we would get someone that's just just insanely powerful.
And that's what I was hoping for as well. Also powerful, but like ultimately wise and just like grounded,
and
you
just
know?
and just can't help but be the hero. And I guess in a sense you could say, well, he does kind of end up doing all that stuff, and he does that for he projects himself, which is supposedly so hard, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's true, but I wanted to see it differently, you know.
Yeah, the representation. Okay, I can understand him being the kind of the crazy hermit because he's hurt over what happened to the temple. I completely get that. But at the same time, yeah. Sorry. At the same time, wow, I completely lost track of what I was about to say.
Sorry.
Very rude. Very rude.
I'm so sorry.
No. I'm sorry. Whoa. Let me finish this. Okay. Let me finish this. Yeah. So, him being tore up about that makes sense. And I think any normal person, even someone as wise and grounded and powerful as Luke, it makes sense. But having him be like that for the entire first movie, pretty much the entire second movie, and only kind of redeeming entire first movie and most of the second movie and the sequel trilogy, and then kind of like being this omniscient figure now in the final movie. I just wish that they were going to stick with that iteration of Luke. At least just let it end halfway through the first one or something like that. You know, let him finally break the cast and realize what he's become, and you know, become the Luke that we know and love, right? So
yeah,
for sure.
So Mary Johnson, how do you feel about the sequel characters such as Rey, Poe, Finn? I know they get a lot of controversy.
You know, I think Rey, Poe, and Finn, unfortunately, are subject to lackluster writing, right? And this, again, my opinion, right? I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm not saying this is the Bible truth, right? I'm just saying this is my opinion. But I just think they could have been better, especially Finn, of all characters, could have been better. But he's like, Rey! I mean, like, every time, like, every 2 seconds. I mean, he's just like, that's all he does. He just yells Rey's name, like, the whole time. I mean, I just think that they all could have been better, especially Finn. But yeah.
I actually really like Rey. I have no problem. I think Rey's a great character.
Yeah, she's the best of the three, for sure.
I think Poe is actually a pretty great character as well. I have to agree. Finn, everything about Finn, like the story, his background stuff is very interesting, but they just never really like dived into it.
Yeah,
enough.
I mean, well, like what, like a kid captured in slave trade, basically, and brought into like a militant
stormtrooper.
Yeah, I mean that's a great story.
He is force sensitive, but they only hinted at that in the first movie, forgot about it in the second one, brought it back for the third.
Yeah.
Anyways, there was a lot of potential there, but they never fully utilized it. So
right.
But I think all three of them are great characters. Just some weren't used as great as I think they could have been.
Right.
But, Michael Dean Evans here.
Oh gosh.
This is my uncle. He says la la la. Is can you get it out? Is Star Wars more than church? I don't really know what that's supposed to mean.
Sometimes.
Star Wars
I'm
more
just
than
kidding.
church.
I'm just kidding.
So, anyways, and
he's
he said,
poking
hey,
fun at us.
Fun.
He's poking fun at us, in case you couldn't tell. So anyway, he got the band hammer. So let's move on here. Go eat your broccoli, Michael.
He's banned forever.
Oh, my Aunt Jamie asked a question.
Hi, Jamie.
Jamie, appreciate the question. She says, I like Jar Jar, but everyone else seems to have a problem with him. Why? Okay, that's a great question. Most of the people that have a problem with him, how do I say this, are hardcore fans, right? I want to say that. Like, people who have a problem with him usually are people who are...
you might have just upset someone for saying that.
She's my aunt. I love you, Jamie. You know
I'm not even saying her.
Okay. Okay, guys, you can be mad at me. Don't be mad at Andrew or the podcast. Be mad at me, okay? People who dislike Jar Jar are typically hardcore fans. And the reason that is, and not to discredit anybody who does like him, but the reason that is because people typically feel that his silliness and clumsiness takes away from the story, right? People like myself typically think that it's a distraction. It's a funny little insert. Now, whether that's really the intention of Jar Jar, and people may not get that, right? Like the people who like Jar Jar may not see it as that. But just for me and other people who dislike him, that's kind of how we view him, right? We just see him as like he's a funny little character. that was inserted for comedic value, and I think that's why most people don't like them. People, and when I say hardcore fans, I don't necessarily mean that, like, you're not a hardcore fan if you like Jar Jar. I'm just saying hardcore fan as in people who's like, oh, very serious about the lore and very, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little controversial. Thank you for ruining our podcast, Jamie. I appreciate that. I love you. So no, I'm just kidding. No, but if in all seriousness though, wow, I can't speak. Jar Jar again I think they just wrote him to be really, really silly, and a lot of people just don't like that. So, any thoughts on that, Drew?
I'm not a huge fan of Jar Jar. Jar Jar was made to be an entertaining character for kids. I mean, that's That's George Lucas will tell you that. That was why they created him.
Toys.
It's just just to make kids laugh and be entertained by the movie, and that's not really what I care about when I watch Star Wars. I watch it for the story, and
100%,
and the drama of it and everything. So just everything about Jar Jar is just not really for me.
So, yeah, I'm on the same wavelength for sure. So, Mary says, I think Jar Jar is poorly written, to be honest. And I think he was never, and this is my problem, right? And then, he was never meant to be a good character. And that's just my opinion, but that's just the way it seems with not only the movies, but like with all the lore behind him. You see him in Clone Wars again. He's even worse than in the movies, right? And then you never really see him in a hardcore book or comic that really treats him as a good character. He was never meant to be a good character. Now, as someone who's casually watching and he's a fun character. I like him, and that's fine. I just think that's a lot of times why people dislike him, because people are so used to these intensely awesome characters like Obi-Wan and Luke and Leia and all these that have these super intense backgrounds, who are have some humor but are serious to some extent, and then they see Jar Jar, who really doesn't have a background, and he only has a very shallow story to him, and he's just really whimsical. So
yeah,
I think that's it pretty much. So.
Brandon Duke said, sorry to cut out, fellas, but I think that's a typo there, but I think he's got a flight, but he says, may the fourth be with you. Brandon,
hey.
I'm sure you probably already left by now by the time we got to this, but if you watch it again or anything, thank you so much for joining with us.
We appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining.
We appreciate you. We always appreciate your support.
Yes, absolutely.
Jamie Taylor, I'm not mad. Wade Baker makes fun of me for liking him. Also, people say there is racist connotations, which I don't get. I
just saw someone point out real quick. It says, like, I'm not mad. Wade Baker makes fun of me. Then Wade Baker joins the chat. Wade, we love you, buddy. So anyway, but yeah, I'll just quickly hit on that. Yeah, there's rumors about that and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's not about the actor. Like, we went to Celebrations back in 2019, and Ahmed Best. Yes, yeah. Ahmed Best, who's the actor, came on there, and people stood up and applauded him for 20 minutes or more, right? It was crazy in a good way, but I think, again, people, what I'm saying, I don't want to get too much into that, but I'm just saying, I think the problem is people just want to use a scapegoat, right? But people like Ahmed, they just don't like the character in the story, right? He just kind of
I
lies.
think Ahmed Best did exactly what he was told to do, and technically, being what they told him to do, he did very well. I have nothing against him. I hate that people have hated on him and got to the point where he almost wanted to commit suicide and stuff, and
that's rough.
It's really messed up, to be honest. And so I've never thought bad about him. I think that he did a great job based on what George Lucas wanted him to do. So. Yeah,
exactly. And again, that kind of refers back to the prequel trilogies. Like, Hayden Christensen's a great actor, right? But he did exactly what George directed him to do. And shout out to Hunter Blackburn, because we actually talked about this a couple of days ago. But George Lucas, you can go to interviews. He literally says, like, I love writing, I love Star Wars, but I hate people. I hate dealing with actors. And he would go in and he would have decent writing, and because if you read it, it made sense, but he would just direct it kind of odd, right? He would do one take and he'd be done. He's like, oh, we'll fix it in post, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the problem with the prequels, right? That anyway,
we'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, long answer there, but yeah.
Yeah, Josh Birkinshaw says, never had an issue with Jar Jar, but I agree. Think he was added to bring in the younger audience. And for me, episode 1 would have been like 30 years since a Star Wars film was released. I was so excited when I found out they were making prequel Star Wars films. I remember annoying my parents, trying to get them to let me go to the cinema. Good times. Yes.
100%. Yeah.
You know, my parents were not, like, back when Revenge of the Sith came out, they didn't want me to go to the movies to see it. It was a PG-13 movie, and so they didn't want me to watch anything that wasn't PG. And I remember being like so devastated that I couldn't go because my aunt had invited me to go with her to see it, and of course I really wanted to watch it. But luckily I got to watch it with my grandma when it came out on DVD. That's when I watched Revenge of the Sith. And I don't know if my parents even knew or if they were even there, but my grandma had it and we watched it. So
Yeah. Whoa, he's in the background.
I was a rebel.
Yeah, he's a rebel. Yeah.
Michael Dean Evans says, Andrew. What do you?
Oh.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you wanting to? The floor is yours. Just says Andrew. I don't know what he wants us to say.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about the second portion of the big news today, which which is the TV series for Disney Plus that is coming along. So they announced Taika Waititi's doing a movie, but then we also got, and I can't remember the name of the lady. We actually talked about this rumor.
Yeah.
You want to pull that up real quick on your lappy there?
My lappy.
Because I don't remember what her name is, and I don't have a phone to look. So
good grief. Goodness, I literally was just looking at that the other day.
Just go to StarWars.com. You can find it there. I just want to make sure I get her name. But anyways, we'll talk about it. I believe it's the same rumor that we'd heard about a lady or woman-centric film that was in the works, and so or series for Disney Plus, and so this is basically now confirmed that there's at least some kind of show being created with this
Leslie Headland.
Okay.
Headland, excuse me. Leslie
Headland.
Yes, Headland.
Yeah. So she is directing it, or she's writer for it.
Emmy nominee Leslie Headland to write, produce, and serve as showrunner for
Okay, so
new
she's got a lot of
Untitled Star
jobs.
Wars series. Yeah.
So this could very well be the Dr. Aphra show that has people been talking about for a long time, or it could be something completely new. If any of you guys have any thoughts on that, let us know. We'd love to hear. But that's the kind of the other big part of the news that we got out of Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
Were those two things, the movie and then the Disney Plus show. So that means we at least have 4 Disney Plus shows in the works right now, which is fantastic.
It's
and
phenomenal.
very exciting.
It's awesome.
Yes, yeah. I'm thrilled to see where all that goes. And please,
100%.
Kenobi series, hurry up! I want to see it so bad.
Unfortunately, it's gonna be a couple years, but I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready for the Kenobi series.
I'm so ready.
We're gonna move on, but just to let everybody know out there, continue asking questions, guys. There's no dumb questions, right? We're here. Yep. We're all here to celebrate Star Wars on Star Wars Day. Yep. So again, if you have a question, ask it, no matter what it is. If you have a topic you'd like to talk about, say it. Or if you, again, like we was talking about earlier and it wasn't on yet, tell us what Star Wars means to you. We kind of talked about that for ourselves. But tell us what Star Wars means to you and what it's meant to you in your life, and we'll read it, and we'll go from there.
We're just here to talk with you guys, just to chat, have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll go till 8:30, but if no one's saying anything, then we'll probably cut it shorter. So that's up to you if you want us to stay on or not.
Yeah, right. So Billy Cobb says, is there going to be a Vader show? So that's a really good question. And in fact, I have some things to say on that. But I will say back, I want to say in February. I could be incorrect in that. But in February, it was rumored that Star Wars, LucasArts, Disney, etc., right? The conglomeration, they wanted to move more to Vader. And this was a rumor that was going around. We don't know that for a fact, right? But it was a rumor that they had been talking like, okay, what is something that we know will work? And what do we know that fans like? Well, Darth Vader, right? When you think of Star Wars, even if you don't even know Star Wars, typically you think of Darth Vader, or you see that image. So there is rumors that there is stuff in the works. Now, the only solid, still a rumor, but the only solid rumor that we have is that there is a Dr. Aphra show possibly coming, and possibly the Leslie Headland might be directing it or show writing all of that, right?
Yeah.
And it's very possible, if that is the case, that Darth Vader will be in that series.
Yeah, I think there's no way that Darth Vader... if they didn't have Darth Vader in that series, it wouldn't make any sense, because as we talked about in I think it was our last episode of our podcast.
I believe so, yeah.
We talked about the fact that, like, Dr. Aphra's story is so interconnected with Darth Vader. Like, her origins that we've gotten are very connected to Darth Vader. And so, if this series takes place anytime during the original trilogy, I think we will have to see Darth Vader.
Oh,
the only reason,
makes sense.
the only way that we may not is if they decide to make that series take place after the events of the original trilogy. So.
Yeah. And
But I think even if it's not that, we're gonna get Vader somewhere.
I'm gonna, and this
in
is
a Disney Plus show.
Yeah, this is kind of advanced, but I would be very surprised if we didn't see him in the Cassian Andor series to some extent, right? I would be surprised.
We could get a short appearance.
And I would be very surprised if he wasn't in the Kenobi series.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're going to do the Kenobi series correctly, you almost have to have Vader, right? Because think about it this way. The reason that Obi-Wan is even on Tatooine hiding and protecting Luke is because of Vader, right? So it only makes sense that we're going to see at least some flashbacks, see some, one of those Pano things where, like, he's on, Obi-Wan's on Tatooine and we're seeing Vader somewhere else in the world, right?
Sure.
On Coruscant or something, right? So my point being is, like, we're definitely going to see him in the future. Where? I don't know. Now, him having his own show, unfortunately, I haven't heard anything about that. So.
I don't know that we'll get him having his own show for a while. I think, of course, as obviously there's a good chance it could happen one day, but I think they're trying to stay away from that for now, and then, like, just have Darth Vader make appearances in things. And I personally think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
It's harder to make a Darth Vader series about him.
Yeah.
Just because of the way the character Darth Vader is. There's a mystery to him about the way he... And if he was to, like... If we were to see him, like, be sitting in his room having coffee and... it would take away from the mysteriousness and intensity of Darth Vader.
See him in his, like, little meditation chamber, his head off, he's like crying. Just,
sitting there reading the paper and eating the bagel.
Yeah. It would take away from the persona and the visage of Vader. So I agree with Andrew in saying that if we're going to get him, it only makes sense that we're going to get him as a kind of a supplementary piece.
Right, because that's just how he works best.
Right. Secondarily, he's also such a legendary character, they're not going to want to mess with that.
Because even in, like, the Darth Vader comics, there's always more characters involved, and a lot of times it can center around them sometimes more so than Darth Vader. Dr. Aphra is a perfect example.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. So,
okay.
Oh, my mommy
Your
says,
mommy.
Such knowledge. Thanks, Mom. I did learn something. So anyway, thank you for that. Boosting my ego. If David's gonna tear it down, my mom will get me. So thanks, Mom.
Mama's always got your back.
Right. Greg Stewart says, I think Jackie Chan would make I think Jackie Chan should make a Star Wars comeback and break a few bones for the cause. Now he says, you say asterisk appearance. I'm not really sure where that's supposed to go, but I will say though, Jackie Chan as a Star Wars character, I could get behind that. We got Jet Li as a Star Wars character. I could definitely see Jackie Chan becoming a Star Wars character. I love Jackie Chan. So yeah, what character he would be, I don't really know. I wouldn't mind, honestly. What Jet Li was part of was it the Wheels of the Force? Was that what it's called? Forgive me, I can't really remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the Wheels of the Force was a part of it. Sorry, we have like
I just got like blown away.
Yeah, our headphones like is connected to his laptop, and anyway, there's an update noise and it's very loud. By the way, those of you who listen to the podcast, that happens all the time, and we don't even skip a beat. We just keep going. You guys don't even know. This time we're like, oh, yeah.
We always make those faces, you just can't see them.
So, oh goodness, I'm sorry. Oh, right. So anyway, I wouldn't mind seeing, in some extent, the Wills of the Force being brought back in some way, and having Jackie Chan as part of that. So it's a little bit of typecasting, but you know what? I think it fits, and I'm sure Jackie would love it. So, so anyway, so let's go on. Mary Johnson says, I discovered Star Wars when I was 17, and I thought it was really interesting, with a lot of good messages in the original trilogy. I think sci-fi is really cool and interesting, and I like the females such as Leia and Rey because they're very strong-willed and powerful. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of my female friends on that same wavelength. You know, they were introduced to it, and for instance, like the female characters, that's one thing I really liked about it. You know, because it had something for everybody. You know, it didn't feel like, oh, this one type of person or genre of people, so to speak. Right? Genre's not the right word, but you know, you're not thinking, oh man, just this one type of person is being represented. I like to think that like everybody has a piece of Star Wars in their heart, right? And you're right. You know, sci-fi is really fun. It's really cool. You get to explore things that are so, well, no pun intended, otherworldly. So I guess pun was intended. Sorry. But yeah, I think it's a great show because of that reason for sure. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us.
absolutely.
Josh and Birkinshaw, Star Wars to me blew my mind when I first saw it. I watched the original trilogy over a weekend long ago with my dad and my brother. The trilogy was on VHS, and I still have these.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. I'm much of the same way. I'm trying to remember who gave me the original trilogy on VHS. Somebody did, and I had, like I said, well, episodes 4, 5, and 6 on VHS, and I watched those at home, and that's what started it all. So
Yeah, my grandma had the VHS tapes,
Yeah.
and that's how I was introduced. And I wish I had them. That'd be cool. I wonder where they went. They didn't go to me because my grandma has passed now, unfortunately. But they went to someone, I'm sure. But unfortunately, it wasn't me.
wow, yeah.
That burns a
So
little.
whoever has those VHS tapes,
Probably not even using them.
probably not. But anyway, so that thanks for sharing, man. We really appreciate that. So
Jamie Taylor, what did you think of Kylo Ren's character?
he was the best part of.
I love Kylo Ren.
He was the best part of the sequel trilogy.
He's great. He's cool.
The two greatest takeaways for me was Kylo Ren as his character, and Rey's theme as in the soundtrack. Like I will always say that. Like I remember saying that from when we got into even The Last Jedi, I already established like Rey's the best, or excuse me, Kylo's the best character, and Rey's theme is the best OST. So, but yeah, I think he gets a lot of flack because Kylo, it seems one-dimensional, right? Because he's just very monotone and blah blah blah, and he's the stereotypical bad guy. But really, the further we get into the series, his acting was phenomenal for that, because that's exactly how he was written, and Adam Driver did phenomenal in that role. But yeah, and we get to see again, like Shrek says, the wise philosopher, ogre has layers like an onion, and we get to see that with Kylo. We can see that with Kylo, and he slowly evolves and becomes like this better and better character and more depth, and we get to see through backstories and comics and books and stuff, and he just develops into this awesome character, and he ends up becoming very powerful in the Force and in his sabercraft. So, yeah, great. It's a great character. So, thanks for asking. So, your mommy says,
Hey.
Mom wants to know if there is going to be any more blue guys.
So,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
For those of you that don't know, my parents, my dad really likes the animated show. He really likes Clone Wars and Rebels, and he's seen some of the movies a long time ago, but he's not really seen any of the current stuff or anything. And so, my mom has not watched any of them, has never cared to watch any of them. She's never really had any interest. But in the past couple of years, I've really tried to get her to kind of get into it. Told her she should try to watch the movies and all that stuff. And so they sat down, I guess, and tried to start The Mandalorian. Well, there's the blue guy, is that what we'll call him at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I guess she just couldn't get over the fact that he was blue, and she just kept asking my dad, why is he blue? And she couldn't get into it, and so the blue guy ruined my mom's chances of watching Star Wars.
Oh, really?
So,
man,
yeah,
that's too bad.
broke my heart, but, But thanks, Mom and Dad,
Pursue blue
for
guy.
watching. Josh and Birkinshaw, original packaging, only thing is no video player anywhere anymore. But I love Star Wars. I love all the books, legends, and canon. Just amazing.
I think he's referring to
I'm
the
right
VHS,
there
right?
with you. Yep, it's all good. Love it all. Nick
Yeah, all
Meadows,
was good. Yes.
why doesn't Vader sense that Leia is his daughter? That's a good question, and good to see you, Nick. Hope you're doing well. So we know in it's actually a junior novel, but it's still considered canon. It's a story of A New Hope told, and so it adds a couple different parts to the movie that you didn't see, and one of those is Vader is interrogating Leia, and so he's kind of like probing her mind, and anyways, she resists him, and when she does that, that's when Vader senses that she has the Force.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very shocked in that moment that she has the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, of course, Vader is under the impression that his children are dead. Okay, he doesn't know until he finds out Luke, but he doesn't even. I don't even know if he knows they're twins.
No, not that I know of. Yeah.
So he only when he does find out there's Luke, that's all he knows. And so
right.
because of that, I don't think he's ever searching for that. He's never trying to find that connection. Mm-hmm. And even beforehand, he never sensed Leia because Leia never used the Force.
Right.
And it wasn't until Leia finally used the Force that Vader was like, whoa. This girl has the Force.
I would just say this. That's a very technical answer, and that's exactly right. I would just say, like on a more generic term, you can't find what you're not looking for, right?
Right.
And Andrew said that aptly, that he wasn't looking for that. He didn't even know she existed. So how would he even know to look, right? So and also the Force, it occupies everything, right? In the Star Wars universe, the Force is the very essence of life. And therefore, when someone uses the Force, it's as if a ripple in the water or a ripple in the air or something, right? So if she's never used the Force, there's no ripple. And if he's not looking for her in the first place, then you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's a fantastic question, Nick. We appreciate you asking
thank you.
that,
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like those, like the deep dive ones there.
Yeah. Sure.
Jamie Taylor, also, Wade told me we couldn't date unless I had watched Star Wars.
Wise man, Wade. Wise man. He's good at music and Star Wars.
That's basically what I told my wife. I was like, you gotta watch Star Wars. So we're gonna make this work.
Very wise. Very wise. Christian says, do you ever think we will get more story about the characters of Rogue One? Obviously, it would be before the events of the movie, but do you think we would get more information about Jyn? So, go ahead, Drew.
Well, so we know we're getting more about Cassian Andor.
Yeah.
And so along with that, there's a good chance we might see a couple of other characters that grace the screen on Rogue One.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get more Jyn Erso in that series.
I don't think so.
Now, that doesn't mean we won't see Jyn Erso again, but if we ever do, it will most likely be because it will have something to do with Saw Gerrera. If we ever get any more period with Saw Gerrera in his prime, doing all the
shenanigans
fighting and stuff that he did, there's a chance we could see a younger Jyn Erso because he kind of took care of her, kept her under his wing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably about the only way we're going to see that, because as it focuses about Cassian didn't run into Jyn until until the movie, right? So
yeah. So some of those other characters could very well show up in the Cassian Andor series.
For sure.
My parents say Debbie's Garage. That's my aunt. So apparently Debbie's Garage is where I could find those old VHS tapes.
Oh, we're going to have to go on a treasure hunt.
I have to go to North Carolina and see if I can find them.
There you go. Hey, whatever it takes, original VHS copy,
Timothy Gother, love Jedi Eternal. Your podcast is awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks, sir.
We really appreciate that.
Appreciate that, man.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very kind.
Absolutely. Billy says, my earliest memories of Star Wars is me at 3 years old wearing a Rebel pilot shirt, acting like I was flying an X-Wing and playing with a plastic lightsaber. That's awesome, man. No, and I think that's kind of like reminiscent of basically everybody's memories that, especially Andrew's.
Well, at least for us.
I guess not for everybody. I shouldn't say that. But for us, that's some of the earliest things I can remember is me and Andrew being out in the backyard, just putting a wallop on each other with plastic lightsabers. That was always such a blast. And that's awesome. So thanks for sharing, Billy.
Mary Johnson, do you like BB-8?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Yeah. Okay, that sounds really.
Yeah,
That sounds right. Okay.
It's like you're trying to convince yourself over
Yeah,
there.
right. I don't know. I do. I think it's kind of like Jar Jar in that sense that he was made to sell toys. Eventually, okay. Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? You unlocked a part of my mind I didn't think about till just now,
Uh-oh.
and we actually talked about this before. Do I like BB-8 by himself? No other. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's fine. Right. One thing I'm very mad about, Disney, wherever you may be, they used BB-8 to replace R2D2, and that I cannot accept. R2D2 and C3PO are just as much integral characters as any of the other ones. I don't care if they're robots. That's, yeah, that's just wrong. No, but for real though, I honestly think I like BB-8, but I do think that they kind of used him to replace R2D2 in a sense, and he's easier to sell toys than R2D2 because he's round and he's cute, and it just frustrates me very badly. But as a character, I do like BB-8 though.
I think BB-8 is what I called it. I think BB-8 is a entertaining character. I really like BB-8, but I'm with you. The problem was that they kind of replaced R2D2 a lot with BB-8, and R2D2 is just so good. Even now, R2D2 is a great character. It's not like he's aged out and he's not as entertaining as he used to be.
Right? Yeah.
He's still such a great character.
100%.
And he doesn't need to be replaced.
No.
He still fits with our generation, with prior generations and future generations. R2D2 still works, and so he didn't need to be replaced by a different and they didn't necessarily completely replace him. R2D2's in it, and he has, but like R2D2 is always a hero. He's always right there, like in the action, helping, and we didn't really get to see a whole lot of that this time. And honestly, with the character of R2D2, that doesn't fit. R2D2 isn't going to just sit by and
100%
not do anything. So,
and I think they kind of realized that to some extent in the first one because in episode 7, because they had him like powered down, for the most part. And again, that just frustrated me because I love R2D2. I thought he was just such a great character. I think he's really fun, and yeah. I don't know. I like BB-8, but I do think that they kind of replaced him with R2D2 or vice versa, whatever. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, hope that answers your questions.
Yeah, and Mary Johnson says true R2D2 is a classic.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Josh Birkinshaw says agreed, Braxton.
There you go. So I mean, I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna finish that. I'm just saying, like, I think the problem is that especially with Disney, that they really tried to focus more on the toy sales, and I think that's one issue that we ran into with episode 7 and on. But they started introducing these new characters to get views, get sales, and so
I get those toy sales, right?
right.
Josh Birkinshaw, R2D2 could probably bring down the whole Empire, First Order, Final Order. He has so much knowledge and is a true Star Wars legend.
He good. That's what I'm saying,
you're
man.
dead on. I agree.
R2D2 could.
I agree 100%.
He could be the new Emperor, man.
Hey,
you kidding me?
Joshin, while you're listening, are we saying your name right? Just be honest.
Yeah,
Is it Josh and Birkinshaw? Are we saying it right? I just wanted to make sure.
If not, please tell us, because I hate mispronouncing people's names, and we do that pretty much every time we open our mouths. So, yes, forgive us if we.
At this point, even if it's wrong, we may still just call you that because we're so used to it.
That's your new nickname. So, congratulations.
So let's talk about a little bit more news that came out of this Star Wars Day.
For sure.
We also know now that Vader Immortal, which was a VR game for Oculus Quest.
Yeah.
I've played the first 2 episodes. I've not yet played the 3rd episode. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have it.
I haven't played any of them because I don't have a VR headset.
Yeah, you need to do that here sometime. Yes, we're saying it right.
Yes.
Good news.
Good,
Awesome.
good. Also, if you want to message afterwards and say, like, you guys are idiots and they're wrong, I just don't want to.
He's like, I was just trying to make you look good for your podcast.
Trust me, you're not making us look good. You can try your best, but we are hurting ourselves more than you're helping. So.
you guys are seeing our appearance, and you can tell now for sure.
But I look a lot better without a hat, but I couldn't get a haircut, and you definitely don't see that.
You should have seen Grace. She should have got a haircut from my sister.
No one ever told me.
So, anyways, that Vader Immortal series is now coming to PSVR. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So instead of just being on Oculus Quest, which is still not in the hands of a whole lot of people. It coming to PSVR, there's probably a lot more people that have that, and so I think that could be very, very good. It could really get the game out there to more people and maybe get a sequel of some sort.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
and that doesn't really help me all that much because I don't have a PlayStation. I have Xbox.
Yeah.
So
well,
I'm done either way,
you're-
right?
Yeah. You're just losing,
Huh?
I guess.
Huh? I'm sorry, Mr. Moneybags. I don't
says,
have.
David Gill says, "Can we call ourselves Eternals? We need a name."
You know, we've honestly been thinking about that. We've honestly been thinking
We've
about that.
discussed needing a name, and I guess Eternals fit probably better than about anything.
You know, honestly, and like I said, we thought about Eternals.
I thought about calling y'all Yubnubs.
No, we didn't. I promise. He's lying. I promise. Yeah, I think that Eternals would be good. I think the problem is with that is just that, you know, we have the Sith Eternal and the Jedi Eternal, so it's like, well, what Eternal are you? You know, so if you guys, you know,
Yeah.
Eternals is as good as name as any. But if you guys have any
Do
suggestions,
you have
hey,
any?
let
Yeah,
us know.
throw out your names. One day we'll
Self-entitle yourself.
I like Eternals though, but we'll.
What's up, Eternals? Let's go. Welcome to our podcast, Eternals. Yeah.
Also, going on that same line of talking about some Star Wars news that came out today, we also now know that Jedi Fallen Order has gotten
Yep.
some new free DLC.
That is true.
So that is
Yeah.
very cool. I think there's some like arena-based challenge modes.
Yeah, like
that
trial
they've
games
added,
and
yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
And they've added like a battle grid, so you can kind of create your own thing there. And then I know like they've added the Inquisitor costume so you can throw that on. So that is very cool. And
Yeah, I really like, and that's the thing with Jedi Eternal. Where are you on?
Jedi
Jedi Fallen Order. I got our podcast on the mind. I wonder why. Honestly, I thought that was a really fun game, and I really like that they're putting DLC out. I just wish that they would do a little more with it, especially now that Battlefront.
Sure, I agree.
Especially now that Battlefront is done. I definitely think they could throw some more resources at it, because that has the most potential.
Well, the only problem with that is they're two different studios.
Well, I thought they were in conjunction, but am I wrong on that?
I don't believe so.
Okay,
No,
well, okay, I'm wrong on that.
Because Jedi Fallen Order is from Respawn, who made Titanfall.
Right, yeah. I just
And
thought they were
then-
in conjunction with EA.
Well, I'm sure they share some resources. I'm sure there's some of that there because they're all under EA. But for the most part, completely working on completely different things.
Even then, I was just gonna say, like, as LucasArts, they're putting some funding into that, right? To some extent, right? Into both of those games. And now that they're freeing up Battlefront 2, I don't know. Maybe I'm not, you know, who knows?
I think that if we could get a DLC that takes place not long after what the ending of Fallen Order was, I think there could be some more stories told there, and
Right.
Add a 2-hour experience onto
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Make it $10, $15, whatever.
I
They
pay
get
it.
to make some more money. I would obviously pay for it to be able to play some more story content.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think it's going to happen. I
Probably not.
I don't think that's their plans. I think honestly they're already working on the next one,
Right.
and so they're probably hard at work at that.
Well, and they have from our rumors, they only have 2 years until that's the case, right? Until the new one comes
yeah.
out. So the sequel
Yeah.
to Jedi Eternal.
And a game like that, it's going to take some time, especially if they're going to continue to keep it at the quality of the first one.
Right.
So.
And so that's something we got to consider. They have to balance those two things. And obviously, we want to have as much stuff as possible, but, that's that's just the nature of the beast. You just got to balance it all. So, I'm trying to think if we have any more stuff here.
Josh and Birkinshaw says one of the biggest things I enjoyed about Fallen Order was the lore.
Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry.
I think there may be a typo here.
Ishtar.
I think maybe may only be me, but I enjoyed reading about the different creatures, planets, and characters.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Might only. Okay. I was like, is this some kind of character I didn't know about or something? I'm like, anyway.
So
yeah, go ahead with that.
yeah, I really enjoyed the lore too. It was definitely cool to see, of course, new planets, new creatures, but it was also cool how they mixed, for example, some of the planets that they had Clone Wars. There was battles there, and so like you would be on that planet and see like some clone armor laying somewhere, or
That's
some wrecked ships
my thought
and
as
different
well.
things, and you would and then he could even like touch those and see some of those memories, and very cool little stuff like that. It was very neat to see.
Yeah, I'm same wavelength there. I definitely think that being able to go back and see, being able to go. Sorry. Hey, going to be able to see, like, I'm forgive me, I don't remember the planet name, but you go and you get to see like some like clone helmets and things like that, and get to interact with those. I mean, it's just super cool. And it's one of the only mediums, not the only, but one of the only mediums that we get to see like pretty close after Order 66. And we get to see the carnage and what life is like, and interestingly enough, it's 6 years or 6 years post Order 66, and interesting to see how everything is almost pretty much equaled out after 6 years. I know most of the Jedi had been destroyed at that point, but it's just crazy to think that 6 years after that the whole Republic is just done. So anyway, good game. I loved all the inclusion of the lore, and just not even just the lore, but like, go finding those little secrets and those little things. It's super fun. I really enjoy it. So.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this one so I can get out of the way. My dad suggested for our follower name to be Potty Wands. So
Potty Wands. I don't know what that even mean.
it's Padawan.
Oh.
Potty.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Real quick. My Aunt Jamie says, I was the first one to get Braxton the set of Lord of the Rings too. Off topic, but I know. I know, but yeah. So that's very true. Aunt Jamie, you were the first one to give me Lord of the Rings. And honestly,
What a cool aunt, right?
Very cool aunt. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the big intro things. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, man. I know this is off topic, but
I love me some Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, boy.
Good stuff. We could have a whole another podcast about Lord of the Rings.
Seriously, we
but
could.
I don't know as much about it. I couldn't tell you as
Yeah,
much
not as much about
history
the
and
lore.
things. But
I like it though.
Greg Stewart, I'm excited to see the additions to Disney World Star Wars area. I was in awe seeing it for the first time. Hopefully, they include some Clone Wars aspects in the near future. Oh, so you've already been there? Man, I'm jealous. I haven't been there yet.
Well, you was in there. When did you go there?
Maybe he's just saying that just what he's seen of it. But I absolutely cannot wait to go there.
I want to go so bad.
I was supposed to be there in August. I don't know that Disney World's going to be back open yet, even if Celebration happens.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I can't wait to be there. I hear it's so immersive, and just everything about it is they just consider you to be a character, and and they
so
just
cool.
a lot of
So
role
cool.
playing if you're into that. But
And what's really cool is that even the rides, like the wait for the rides, is a part of the ride, and stuff like that. So it's just again, the whole place is immersive, and I want to go so bad. I want to go so bad. Hopefully, we can save up a couple Somalians and go some point.
Yes.
So
Kelby Smith, you texted me earlier, and I don't remember if I was in the middle of writing a message. I don't know if I sent that message to you or not. But Kelby earlier sent me a message, and he shared our podcast on his work newsletter.
nice.
And he said it was going out to 1,200 of his coworkers. So thank you so much for that.
Nice.
We really
Thanks,
appreciate
Kelby.
that.
That's awesome, man.
If I didn't text you back yet, again, I'm not sure if I sent it or not. But if I didn't, thank you so much. That's awesome. But he said,
awesome, man.
how do you guys feel about the Star Wars expansion parks at Disney? Have you been? If so, what are must-dos? So I guess we technically kind of just answered that. But
Yeah.
I've not been there yet. Really want to, and I hear that the newest ride, I'm not sure what that ride is called at the moment, not the Millennium Falcon one, but the newest one.
Rise of Resistance.
Rise of Resistance, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. I hear
Yeah.
that's like insane.
Well, and that's one of the ones that I was referring to that has like even the wait in line is a part of the ride, and they do
Right,
stuff,
even
and it's
exactly, yeah.
so
So
cool.
I'm gonna be there one day, and
One day we will be there.
hopefully you will get to as well,
Um,
Kelby. And we'll all have fun. Apparently, Greg's already been there, so
Uh,
whatever. He didn't
Apparently,
he didn't invite us,
I didn't even
so-
hear about this, Greg. So, one thing I will say is that, in reference to your question, Kelby, one really cool thing about the park is that it's not just a park, but they actually include it in Star Wars lore. Like, it's an actual place. You know, the Black Spire. On Batuu, or is it on Batuu? Or no, that's am I confused? I don't know. It's called the Black Spire, regardless, right? But my point is like there's a place called Doc Ondar's Antiquities or Doc Ondar's Oddities or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And that's a real place in the park you can go to. You can go buy souvenirs and stuff.
Yeah.
And Doc Ondar's is an actual character in Star Wars on this planet in that little town.
And what's great is there's even
beautiful.
novels now that connect to all that. They talk about the stores. They talk about the food you can buy, and they're part of the story in the novels.
It's so
And like
crazy.
the
It's so
characters are all,
crazy.
and then you can go there and you'll see. I've heard different things from those novels. There's even some of the book characters that you can find there at the park and stuff. So like everything there is connected.
So connected.
Which
yeah.
again, they've decided to make that a part of that. Everything is canon, just like all the rest of the books and everything.
Even
else.
the park is
Even
canon.
the park is canon,
so
and it's just
crazy.
amazing. Alyssa Renee says, "Hey guys, we're about to watch Rise of Skywalker. Will it be a major waste of my time?" Short answer: no, it will not be a waste of your time. I think that overall, it's a good movie. You'll enjoy it.
Great. Yep.
Now, if you get into into it deeper, we have our issues with it, blah blah blah.
Right.
But just as far as entertainment value, I think it's a very good movie. Enjoy it, have fun.
Yeah, that's what we'll get into. I'll just to compliment
Kaylee
that.
McMillan, hello, says it's awesome.
Hey, I was going to compliment
So
that
she-
answer. Give me a
oh,
sec.
sorry.
Good
My
grief.
apologies. I didn't.
Hey, I'm trying to talk here.
Go ahead. What do you want to say about it?
Well, at this point, it's kind of moot, right? But no, I was just going to
Say,
say.
taste your own medicine there.
Oh, shut up already. Anyway. I was gonna say it's a great movie, and yeah, you can break down the finer details of the lore and the writing and blah blah. But overall, especially if you're not nitpicking it, it's a really fun movie to watch. Great visuals. Some of the transitions. It's amazing. So anyway, yes, very good.
So Greg Stewart said we went on our honeymoon.
That's so crazy. I did not know that, man.
That's very cool. The mountainous landscape surrounding the park makes you feel like you're really there. Awesome.
So cool. I
So
want
it's
to go.
incredible. I can't wait to
I
go
wanna
one
go
day.
so bad.
Kaylee McMillan. Callie says, "Hi, Dewey." Oh, that's my little niece. Hi, Callie. Love you.
Dewey, that's a new one. I gotta
Yeah,
remember
she,
that one.
She calls me Dewey. Oh, I really like it when she calls me Uncle Dewey. Uncle Dewey.
Uncle
very
Dewey. So
you,
cute.
You don't call me Uncle Dewey.
Oh,
That's
I'll be
weird.
calling you Uncle Dewey from now on. But
Alyssa says, "Please explain the blah blah blah."
I don't remember what I said. Forgive me.
It may have been. I don't remember which one of us said blah blah blah. But,
Yeah, I don't.
the blah 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 is there's this one scene. And there's a couple characters, and they go really deep into. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't
mean
know.
it.
Probably saying I said blah 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 was just referring to you can. It's one of two things. Probably nitpicking the finer details would just mean like there's some writing that I didn't really appreciate, and then the other thing was about the transitions. There's just I don't know. There's really good transitions. I don't know what I said. Apologize.
Kelby Smith, if you could build a lightsaber, what would it look like?
Ooh, good question. Good question.
I think mine would be like the High Republic lightsabers that we've seen with the
yeah.
cross guard on it.
Yeah.
Not like the Kylo Ren cross guard, but like
The actual metal.
Yeah, like a metal
Yeah.
cross guard, and then it has the blade. It was on the book cover, I believe, for one
Yeah,
of the High Republic
it was.
novels. Anyways, I think that one's really cool, so I'm kind of into that right now. So that would be my answer.
There's so many options. I would honestly say something very similar to that. But on the opposite side, I almost wouldn't mind going with like what a lot of the Wookiees go with, which is the wood from their like the Kashyyykian tree.
The Shriek.
Shriek?
I have no idea how to say it.
Yeah.
It starts with an S.
Yeah, it's
And it
harder
ends
than
in wood.
steel, but it's wood, and it's just I would love that with like maybe like a yellow blade. Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I literally would take any of them. But
Kelby,
yeah.
what would your lightsaber
Yeah.
look like? Let us know. I'm curious. Jamie Taylor, did you guys like Rogue One? I do, but Wade didn't like it that much. Oh,
Wait, what do you not like about it?
that's interesting. You should ask him what he doesn't like about it, because I personally love that movie. I think it's extremely well done.
Yeah, no, I really liked it as well. Granted, I kind of get where he's coming from, because when I first watched it as well, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't what I was expecting. Now, I've grown to like it more, you know what I'm saying? As I've watched it and stuff, especially as you get towards the end with the Vader scene. Oh, man, that Vader scene. Oh. But I'll just finish my part in saying It's not perfect like a lot of the Star Wars movies have been coming out, but I do think as an offshoot movie that's not a part of the saga, it was, in my opinion, pretty good. And I do like how it filled in a lot of lore up to the point where Episode 4 comes in. So
Yeah. I the only thing I, of course, struggled with that movie is it doesn't have a lot of Jedi, because I just love Jedi. So like,
right, yeah,
you know, but I think it was really well done. You know, it does. There's parts of it that feel very different than average Star Wars, but I appreciated it.
Yeah.
And I think that it was very good. So, okay, Alyssa says it was me who said blah blah blah. I'm sorry, I don't know why. And she said,
I don't want to answer this one.
if you could dress up as any female Star Wars character, which one would it be and why? She's trying to sabotage us.
Episode 5.
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
What?
Nothing.
No, I'm gonna say Episode 5, where Leia's dressed up as the assassin. That's what I dressed up as a lady character, right? That's pretty good. Get out of the jail card. I'm not answering that seriously. Okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not letting you sabotage me like this. What's your answer, Andrew?
I would dress up as Yaddle.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good answer too.
I would dress up as Yaddle, definitely, without a doubt.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
even
funny.
the same hairstyle. So
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Kelby says if Disney is open in December, I'm going to go build one. Oh man,
yeah.
I'm jealous.
don't
Take
blame
me
you,
with
man.
you, please. That's awesome. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I plan to build one too as well when we go. That looks like we've caught up on our questions. If anybody has anything else, please send it in. We're still going to go here for another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to say anything, we do have a little bit we're going to talk about, but we're going to start on that now, and then they can
Yeah.
throw in some extra questions we'll hit at the end.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and I'll explain this. At the last part of our, we're going to try to go off at 8:30 and try to go a little bit earlier because the group page Star Wars Collective is having a Rise of Skywalker watch party. So if you want to go watch that with them, please feel free to go do that. Great group. So I want to go off a little bit early for those of you who may be coming from their page. But we are going now into our review of the Clone Wars Season 7 finale.
So if you haven't got to watch it and you don't want that to be spoiled, now's the time.
Now is the time. Oh,
There it is.
that's the sound effect I always do. And we really just need to get actual sound effects. That's pretty horrible. No, but yeah.
I don't
So
have money for that.
yeah, we don't got the money for that. No, so yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, please feel free to leave now, because that's going to be kind of the remainder of what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
But please make sure when you watch it, come back and watch it. We love to hear you hear our thoughts, and we love to hear your thoughts on it as well. So, yes, Star Wars Clone Wars Season 7 finale to finish off the whole season, but also the whole show.
Yeah.
What a big thing.
The end.
Oh, real quick. Jamie says, if you could be any one Star Wars character, who would it be? Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Okay, next.
End of story.
Yeah, Obi-Wan. So,
Well, and Joshua Birkinshaw said not like Jabba's slave. Then I thought that was what you were about to say.
I know. Well,
when you said episode, I thought you were going to say 6, and then but anyways. Yeah.
I thought I was going to say that too, to be honest. And then
thought against it.
I'm like, well, I'm not going to dress up as a woman. So, anyway. Yeah. So, once more, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
So, but what a finale, man! What a finale, man! I don't even know how to put it into words. You know, I will just say that it was, again, every episode, especially in the last arc, every time has built upon itself in terms of cinematics, at least. And it's just every episode has been even more beautiful and even more beautiful and even more beautiful. I loved watching it. Yeah, I mean, it was an incredibly powerful and emotional episode for sure. Cinematic masterpiece. I mean, I can't say enough about it. The only, and like I said, we'll extol its virtues for a while, because I'm pretty sure Andrew doesn't have a whole lot of bad to say about it either. The only negative thing about it, and it's not even about the episode, the only negative thing is that it was only 24 minutes, right? I wanted to see more. I wanted to see, if at all possible, I wanted to see, because here's the thing, the stuff that we saw was only new stuff, and that's awesome, and that's what I wanted, but at the same time, I would have loved to see excerpts from things we already know is happening at the same time. So I would have loved to seen it like during an action shot where Ahsoka and Rex are fighting, right?
Yeah.
I would have loved to seen flashes of Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting. I would have loved to see an excerpt of him storming, Anakin storming the temple. I would have loved to see more of the things that we already know of. So go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely would have been cool to see something like that, but at the same time, I understand why they didn't. They wanted to focus on Ahsoka and Rex. You know, Dave Filoni says it's their story, so
Yeah.
I wish we would have gotten at least one appearance by Obi-Wan Kenobi, but we didn't get that lucky, unfortunately.
Also, real quick, Jamie asked why we would be Obi-Wan so quickly. If you listen to our other podcast, you'll understand that Obi-Wan is both of our favorite character. He, in the short version, he is the most idealistic version of a Jedi that we see in canonical Star Wars, and he's ideal in terms of his virtues, his morality. He's super powerful, but he doesn't show it. He's devilishly handsome, like I hope to be, and but he's self-sacrificing. I don't know. Yeah. So
yeah, you covered it well. We talk about him all the time. So I think with the Clone Wars, with this final episode, my only problem with it, and it's not really a problem. It's the fact that it was divided up is the only reason this is a problem.
Right.
This final episode was a lot about them escaping the ship, a lot of fighting, which it was all cool. It was very entertaining to watch, but we didn't have a whole lot more like deep story moments necessarily in this episode, because they were kind of just like resolving the end. And so for that reason, I don't consider this one my favorite out of the arc. I think 9 and 10 are both really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all really good. It's hard to really rank them, but this one was kind of resolving that. There's a lot of fighting and stuff, and so we get to the end, and let's just talk about the end for a moment. After it's all said and done, we get Ahsoka standing there. Ahsoka and Rex buried all the clones, and they had that grave site there, and all the helmets are on the sticks and everything, and what a powerful moment. And Ahsoka drops the lightsaber, leaves it there, and then we get it like jumps forward, and we don't know what the time jump is yet. We're not real sure on that. I wouldn't be surprised if sooner or later Dave Filoni tells us, like, hey, this was this many years after. But at the moment, we're not really sure exactly how long.
There was a theory that this was post Anakin and, I guess Vader's and Ahsoka's battle in Rebels.
I've heard a couple people say that.
Where they're getting that, I don't know.
My only reason why I find that would be kind of weird is why would he be going and doing that now after he knows Ahsoka's alive? I don't know. But anyways, Vader shows up, which is just amazing, really cool to see Vader and to see the stormtroopers and everything in this Clone Wars animation. Super exciting moment. I was thrilled to see that, and he goes to that crash site and he finds Ahsoka's lightsaber and he's just like holding it, and the animation is just amazing. The scenes, the imagery there is just
so good.
It's so good.
And then, interestingly enough, when Anakin grabs the lightsaber, well, first of all, he ignites it. I don't know, just seeing that picture of Vader on the snowy planet, Hoth maybe, who knows, right? But Vader, cape flowing in the wind with like this blue lightsaber, he's just sitting there looking at it. You can see his eye through his visor, which was a really cool shot. But also, what you notice is as he walks away, the camera kind of refocuses, and in the back you see what looks to be a convor. And if it is a convor, I can't remember her name. Let me write. Mariah? I
don't remember. But
anyway, supposedly that's the convor that you see every time Ahsoka in the Rebels is mentioned, or the forces at work around her, or something along that line. So it was so cool and symbolic to see that tie-in from Rebels to Clone Wars, because it's just like, well, the next thing is Rebels. So it was cool to see Vader grabbing that lightsaber, which was Ahsoka's, turning around, and then the convors in the background, which is like leading in right into his Rebels.
Which is supposedly connected to the daughter from the Mortis trilogy.
That's a whole thing.
That's a whole story there. But
if you guys like to hear an episode about
some of you that are super deep into that probably know what we're talking about. But we think there might be a connection with that, with the Mortis trilogy and that. And then, of course, when you get into Rebels, there's more of that as well. But
for sure.
You have anything else that you want to mention about the episode? It was great to see Darth
Yeah.
Maul do some more destruction.
That was the biggest thing for me.
One
Yeah.
thing that really surprised me is, I mean, in the past episode and this final episode, Darth Maul is just going crazy. I mean, he's
Yeah.
just, I mean, that hallway scene in the last
So
episode and
nuts.
then this one, he's just the amount of force like destruction he's doing is crazy, and it makes me kind of like, wow, they're making him a lot more powerful here than he's been in anything else we've ever seen.
Oh, 100%.
in the past 2 episodes.
Why they're making him that crazy leap, I'm not 100% sure on that.
It was a little. To me, it was a little unbelievable, just because we've never seen him to that kind of
Yeah.
extreme, and
Agreed.
so it kind of was like, like interesting.
Yeah.
But
We're getting kind of close on time. We wanted to get a little bit before 8:30 finished up. Well, we do have some questions coming in. So do you want to do a lightning round?
well, we will. But one other thing I want to mention is the Mandalorian behind the scenes.
Oh,
that we,
yes.
that we watched. We don't have. I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, but I do want to encourage you guys, if you like the Mandalorian, to go and watch that behind the scenes. The first episode came out today, and it is very entertaining. It's about like 32 minutes long, I believe. It has a lot of really good stuff in there about the making of, and there's going to be, I think, like 8 episodes, and they're going to be released weekly. So I highly encourage you guys to watch that. We really enjoyed it today.
Yeah, it was awesome.
The first
I
episode
really
is
liked it.
is kind of focused on the directors,
Mhm.
and so you learn a lot of really cool things there. Dave Filoni is awesome as always, and so I highly encourage you guys to check those out. And we'll be talking about those more on our regularly scheduled podcast on Fridays.
Sure. So let's just do some lightning around here before we end up for the evening. Alyssa says, any new news on The Mandalorian? Yes, we are getting season 2 in October, and it is slated for season 3 next year. That is more of a rumor, but it's pretty much news.
It's pretty much guaranteed we're getting a season 3. Season 2, will be out not that long from now.
Nope.
And it looks to all be going well, so be ready for that. It's going to be good, I'm sure.
My Aunt Jamie says, what did you think about how abrupt Han Solo died? I couldn't believe his own son killed him, but had a change of conscience later on, which is the reverse of his grandfather, Vader. So, just quick thoughts. Han Solo had to die because they wanted him to die. They wanted to get rid of the original cast. So the reason it's so abrupt, my opinion, was because they wrote it that way. But secondarily, it was kind of like the crossover period, and this is how they wrote it. This was the crossing over period for Kylo, the final... Supposedly, it wasn't, but it was this kind of final act that he had to do to commit himself to the dark side and submit to Snoke.
Supposed to be kind of the final test.
Right, which obviously we see that didn't work because he still never could abandon his mother. And we see that in episode 9.
And then in episode 9, of course, we see that kind of turn, and with his father again being that centerpiece.
Yeah.
And we won't get too much into that because I think we have a couple people planning to watch that tonight for maybe the first time.
So
You'll find out more about that.
all right, Kelby says, is his fatal flaw the fact that is his fatal flaw the fact he, Qui-Gon Jinn, is my favorite? Similar shining morals, but wavers from the code. Some senses. Oh, my thing just refreshed. Sorry. Senses the Sith also taught Obi-Wan how to Force Ghost and Liam Neeson. So, first of all, Qui-Gon Jinn is an amazing character.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson,
Yes, absolutely.
as an actor, is great.
Right.
But I definitely see where you're coming from, and I would definitely say that Qui-Gon is such a very interesting character because we get to see him do things that not a lot of other Jedi do, especially learning how to do the Force Ghost and stuff like that. He found that himself, and it took Yoda a very difficult amount of time in the final arc in season 6 of Clone Wars. Well, I guess not final now, but anyway, yeah. So that was very cool. And you said, Kelby also says Obi-Wan is loosely based after the Merlin type character in the originals and Odysseus in the prequels. Wise, morally just, outstanding character. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. He definitely had that same kind of vibe. Joshin says, you guys have been amazing. It's way past my bedtime, but well worth it. Thank you. Can't wait for you guys to do this again. Joshin.
Thank you, Joshin.
You are awesome, man.
Appreciate you very much.
I can only imagine what time it is over in the UK right now.
It's late.
Like 2 in the morning, I think.
I hope you get enough rest tomorrow. Hopefully,
I'm so sorry that you kept you up.
I'd buy you a coffee, but I don't even know how to.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know about pounds, dollars.
I don't even know. I wouldn't be able to tell you how much I got to give you, man. But hey,
thank you.
We thank you, and we still want to have a chat with you soon. We want we want to get you on here
for sure.
Talk with you live sometime real soon. So be looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure.
So Alyssa says, I have no interest in watching Star Wars. Austin was just giving the guys a hard time.
Wow.
Well, you know what? You need to change your mind. You need to watch that Rise of Skywalker tonight. Watch Star Wars.
Change your heart too.
Yeah. Melissa Don Voorhees McMillan waved at us. So. Alex Mason, hey buddy, how you doing? Alex Mason says, with Maul being more powerful, the dark side was stronger because of Anakin's change to the dark side. So maybe that could be a reason. Just a thought. Oh,
that's Oh, yeah, by the way, Josh said it's 1:30 in the morning. So,
dude,
God bless you, dude.
Yes, God bless
so
you. Man.
Crazy.
Thank you so much for being
watching,
a part.
But Alex, yeah, I've never really thought about that.
Well, because even Maul says, the dark side has never been so strong.
Right.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I like that.
Well, and another thing I want to say on that though is because at this point, how do I say this in a very quick way? Because we probably need off here just a few minutes here. But with that being said, this whole time in episode 3, during that whole duration of time, the Jedi had built their temple above a Sith temple, right? A Sith, Sith temple, right? And this whole time, Sidious has been using that to leech the power of the light side from the Jedi and slowly weakening them. And this was right then when he said that is the precipice of when this was about to happen. So I don't necessarily think it's specifically just Anakin. I do think that's a big part of it. Of course, he's the chosen one. He's a great Force wielder.
Right, but it's also just the fact that Palpatine has kind of unleashed.
Yep.
He's let all that dark side, finally just letting it flow, and what in the world just happened?
I just moved my foot and kicked him over.
To destroy everything on our table. So I think that had a big part on, but that's something I hadn't really thought about, is the fact that maybe because of all those events,
right,
that's kind of fueling that dark side and allowing Maul to take that stuff to the next level. So thank you, Alex.
Yeah, Alex, that's awesome.
A very good point.
Didn't even think about that.
Really appreciate that. And Jamie Taylor said, by the way, I did name my dog Anakin. That's
true.
Cool. That's awesome.
That is true.
Kelby Smith, the dark side was never that militarized. They were ready to destroy everything, and the Jedi were blind.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Obviously, that's kind of part of the reason why the Jedi had fallen, because they became militarized and dogmatic in their ways. And therefore, because of their pride, that Palpatine was able to, again, sap them. I mean, it was their whole point that they built a temple over a Sith place, right? That was their pride getting ahead of them, right? And so then, because they became militarized and got away from the principles of true Jedi, they fall. So.
Yeah, and Melissa Dawn McMillan says, my dog is Kylo. So we got
awesome.
two.
Wow, we got two dogs here.
Cool.
Anakin and Kylo, father and son, or father and grandson.
I think we're gonna need to wrap this thing up.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's been so much fun though. We'll have to do this again soon for sure.
100%, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for liking and sharing, but then coming here and celebrating Star Wars Day.
Yes,
May the 4th with us this evening. Wherever you may find yourself, whether it be in California and Canada, if you're over in the UK, France, here in Indiana, wherever you may find yourself, anywhere in between, we thank you so much. And please continue to like and share. Please, if you may not be a big podcast listener, but hopefully our dumbness and crazy funniness can overcome that.
That's one way to put it.
There's many ways to put it. But I hope that
check us out every Friday. We don't necessarily have a set time, but we always release our episodes on Fridays, and we'll even be releasing one on this coming Friday. So make sure to be there for that.
Yep. It's about 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is typically.
Okay, we have a guest.
Oh, look out!
We actually have Ray herself here.
Ray herself! Oh my goodness, look at her! It's Ray! Oh my goodness. Look at her.
It's Ray!
That's awesome.
Ray, do you have anything to say?
Anything to say for yourself?
Okay. She dressed up as soon as she got up this morning.
That's awesome.
She got dressed in her Ray costume to celebrate Star Wars Day.
That's great. Well, anyway, guys, we thank you so much for watching this evening. We hope you tune into our podcast. And without any further ado, we want to wish you, say, may the Force be with you. And thank you for listening and watching to the Jedi Eternal.
See ya.
See you later.